If you've ever felt your chest tighten out of nowhere, your heart pounding in your ears, your hands going cold and clammy, and your brain looping through every worst-case scenario, you know exactly what anxiety feels like. It doesn't matter if you are in a grocery line, a meeting, an exam room, a first date, or just scrolling at 2 a.m. 1 second. Everything's fine. The next, it feels like the walls are closing in, sounds amplify, the room shrinks, and you can't breathe. And the worst part, the shame that follows. That quiet voice whispers, "Why can't I just be normal?" you think. "What is wrong with me? Why can't I just calm down?" You believe anxiety is a weakness, that if you were stronger, none of this would happen, so you hide it. But listen closely, that is a lie. Every bit of it. Anxiety isn't a flaw, a character defect, or a punishment. It is your brain trying to protect you. Deep inside your brain lives a tiny almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's overprotective bodyguard, evolved over millions of years to keep you alive. It scans for threats 24/7, never sleeping, never taking a break. In the days of caves and tigers, it was a hero. Spot a tiger, it hit the panic button, flooding your body with fight or flight in under a tenth of a second. Heart racing, breathing fast, muscles tensed, you were ready to run or fight. It saved millions of lives. It is why we're here. The problem: nobody gave this bodyguard the memo that we don't live in caves anymore. It can't tell the difference between a tiger and a work email that says we need to talk, a real threat and a scary future thought, or a car backfiring and a gunshot. So when it sees something that even looks like a threat, it hits that same button. Suddenly, you are in a full anxiety attack with no tiger in sight. Your brain pulled the fire alarm because someone burned toast. But here is the incredible news. Just because your brain pulled the alarm doesn't mean you have to wait for it to stop. You don't have to suffer through 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or an hour of unnecessary emergency response. You can override the system today. I am teaching you 4 brain hacks backed by actual peer-reviewed neuroscience. These aren't just calm down tips or positive affirmations. These are backdoor codes to reach inside your nervous system and hit reset. They work every time, no matter how anxious you are, and each one works in 10 seconds or less. Hack 1. The neuro override. Try this with me now. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Without exhaling, take another quick, sharp sip of air to top off your lungs. Then blow it all out slowly through your mouth, as slow as possible, until there is absolutely no air left. That is it. That is the hack. It is called the physiological sigh, and it is the single fastest way to calm your nervous system ever discovered. Not a new age trick. It is a biological reflex hardwired into every human, every mammal on Earth. We do it automatically when stressed, crying, or falling asleep. But almost no one knows you can do it on purpose. In 2023, Stanford researchers published a landmark study in Cell Reports Medicine. They took 111 volunteers and split them into 4 groups: mindfulness meditation, box breathing, cyclic hyperventilation, and the physiological sigh. After 28 days, the sigh group showed a 30% greater drop in anxiety than meditation, lower resting heart rate, higher heart rate variability, better mood, and it worked instantly. One single physiological sigh reduced anxiety by up to 15% in under 10 seconds. Here is how it works. When you are anxious, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid, lots of small inhales, no full exhales. Carbon dioxide builds up, making your heart race, chest tighten, and you feel like you can't breathe. Your lungs have millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli. Shallow breathing lets them collapse one by one. Once collapsed, they can't exchange gases properly, so no matter how hard you try, you feel starved for air. That first deep breath inflates most alveoli, but that second sharp sip, that is the secret. It pops open the collapsed ones. Then the long, complete exhale clears out all that panicky carbon dioxide. This isn't placebo, it is physics. Biology. You are sending a direct signal to your brain. The threat is gone, we are safe. Within 10 seconds, your heart rate drops, breathing slows, chest tightness melts, and you can do it anywhere. In a meeting, a crowded room, driving, an exam, no one notices. Whenever anxiety twinges, 2 inhales plus 1, long exhale. That is it. Hack 2. The sensory hijack, the best definition of anxiety I've ever heard. Anxiety is time travel. When you are anxious, you are not in the present. You are in the future, pre-playing every possible disaster, living in a world that doesn't exist. Your brain can't tell the difference between a vividly imagined event and the real thing. So it hits the panic button for imaginary threats. But here is a giant loophole. Your brain cannot focus on 2 things at the exact same time. Real sensory input from the present always beats imaginary future threats. That is the sensory hijack, a way to yank your brain back to right now. You might know the 5 to 4 negative 3 minus 2 to 1g rounding technique. It is popular, it works, but has one huge problem. In a full anxiety attack, your brain is fried. You can't remember to find 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, 1 thing you taste. Too much, too complicated. By the time you hit 3, you've forgotten what you were doing. So I created the 1 minus 1 to 1m method, the simplified emergency version. Here is how to do it. The second you feel anxiety taking over, stop. Quickly find 3 things. 1 thing you see, any object, a pen, a plant, a crack in the wall. Really look at it. Notice its color, shape, how light hits it, its tiny imperfections you've never noticed. 1 thing you hear, listen. The hum of an AC, a bird, your own breath. Focus on that sound, let it fill your ears and drown out the noise in your head. 1 thing you touch, run your fingers over the table, feel your clothes, press your feet into the ground. Notice the texture, temperature, pressure. That is it. 1 see, 1 hear, 1 touch. It sounds too simple, but it is incredibly powerful. While your brain focuses on these real physical things, it can't keep spinning imaginary disasters. It is like dropping an anchor in a storm. The storm may still rage, but you won't get swept away. In 10 seconds, you'll feel grounded, back in your body, and you'll remember. Right now, in this exact moment, you are safe. Hack 3. The name it to tame it method when anxiety hits. Most of us do the wrong thing. We fight it, push it away, tell ourselves, I shouldn't feel this way. Stop feeling anxious right now. We resist, ignore, pretend. But emotions work like a beach ball held underwater. The harder you push, the harder it shoots back up. Or like trying not to think of a pink elephant. The more you try, the stronger it gets. There is another way that doesn't involve fighting, a way to disarm anxiety before it spirals. It is called naming your emotion. Here is how it works. Next time you feel anxiety coming on, don't push, don't ignore. Just stop and say out loud or in your head, I am feeling anxious right now. That is it. Sounds ridiculous, right? How can 2 words stop anxiety? But there is hard neuroscience behind it. Dr. Matthew Lieberman at UCLA discovered this using fMRI scans. When people looked at fearful or angry faces, their amygdala lit up like a Christmas tree. But when they labeled the emotion, saying that person is afraid or that person is angry, something amazing happened. The amygdala quieted down, and the prefrontal cortex, your logic and self-control center, lit up instead. It is like a dimmer switch. Naming the emotion automatically turns down the amygdala's volume. The anxiety doesn't vanish completely, but it stops being this huge, overwhelming, uncontrollable force. It transforms from a black cloud swallowing you whole into just a feeling, a temporary feeling you are observing, not a part of you. And the more specific you are, the better. I feel overwhelmed. I feel embarrassed. I feel scared. A precise label can reduce amygdala activity by up to 50%, and it happens in less than 10 seconds. You don't have to fix it or get rid of it. Just name it. That takes back the power. Hack 4. The stress flush. When your brain hits the panic button, it does more than speed up your heart and breathing. It tenses every muscle in your body to prepare you to fight or run. Your shoulders hunch, jaw clenches, fists ball up, legs tighten. your body becomes a coiled spring. But in the modern world, we almost never actually fight or run. We don't punch our boss or sprint out of meetings, we just sit there, all that built up tension has nowhere to go, so it gets trapped. Even after the threat is gone, the muscle tension stays, for hours, days, weeks. That is what makes you jittery, on edge, snapping at people, unable to relax. Your brain is waiting for the signal that you fought or fled. Until it gets it, you stay on high alert. The stress flush gives your brain that signal. Here is how, for exactly 5 seconds, tense every single muscle in your body as hard as you can. Clench fists, arms, shoulders up to your ears. Chest tight, stomach in, glutes clenched, legs tight, toes curled, tense everything. Keep breathing normally. Don't hold your breath. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now release all at once, like dropping a heavy weight. Don't release slowly, release suddenly. Let every muscle go completely limp. Feel the tension drain out like water from a bathtub. Feel your shoulders drop, jaw unclench, arms and legs go heavy. That jittery energy melts away. That is it. 5 seconds tense, 5 seconds release, exactly 10 seconds total. What you just did was complete the stress response cycle. Your brain thought you'd need to fight or run by tensing then releasing. You are telling it, we did it, we fought, we ran, threats gone, stand down. This is the most powerful physical signal you can send your nervous system that it is safe to relax. I use it every time I feel that anxious energy building. It is like a reset button for my entire nervous system. And you can do it sitting down anywhere. Desk, car. Nobody knows. Now, remember something important. None of these hacks will eliminate anxiety forever. That is not the goal. In fact, never feeling anxious would be a problem. Anxiety is a normal part of being human. It means you care, you are growing, pushing beyond your comfort zone. The goal is to not be controlled by it, to feel the anxiety, and still do the thing anyway. Too many people spend their lives running from anxiety. They turn down amazing opportunities, cancel plans with people they love, stay in jobs they hate, stay in miserable relationships, stay stuck in tiny comfort zones because they're afraid of that feeling. But you don't have to do that anymore, because now you have the tools. You have the backdoor codes to your own nervous system. You know how to hit reset. You are not a victim of your brain anymore. You are in control. And above everything else, remember this: you are not your anxiety. Your anxiety is something you feel, it is not who you are. You are the one observing the anxiety. You are the one choosing to take a deep breath, to ground yourself, to take back control. So the next time anxiety hits, don't think, oh no, here we go again. Think, okay, I know what to do. Try one of these hacks, try all of them, see which works best for you. And when it works, because it will, I want you to do 2 things. First, because next time you need it, you'll be panicking, and your brain will go blank. So save it right now, put it in a playlist you can find easily. Second, share this video with someone who needs it. Millions are suffering in silence, thinking they're alone, thinking something's wrong with them. This video could change their life. Get them through their next attack. Give them hope. And if you want more simple, science-backed psychology tips that actually work, make sure to follow Simple Psych Lab. Every week we break down complex neuroscience into simple, actionable hacks to improve your mental health. No fluff, no jargon, just real science that works. Thank you for watching, and remember, you are stronger than your anxiety, and you are never alone.